Star Wars Jedi Survivor, released April of 2023, available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC platforms, retailing for $69.99. Jedi Survivor is a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, and follows the same protagonist, Cal Kestis. There has been a bit of a time jump between games, as he is now older, and has made a name for himself harassing the Empire, but is apparently not directly tied with the rebellion made famous in the original trilogy. But then again, I am no expert on current Star Wars canon. The beginning is something of an attempt at misdirection, as you start with a whole team of new characters, but they shortly cease to matter, and you start seeing all your old friends from the first game again. But that is not to say that this is simply more of the first game. Rather, it's a much bigger version of what the first game was going for. The environments are far more open, making this much closer to being a true open-world game. You also have many more options in combat, as in addition to having the single lightsaber and the double-bladed lightsaber, you can now dual-wield two of them, or have a lightsaber and a blaster in your hand, or have one much bigger lightsaber, with each of these options having different strengths and weaknesses. And of course, there are some enemies that are particularly weak to one stance or another. Unfortunately, you can only have two options with you at any given time. You can change them every time you reach a meditation point, but you can always only have two on you at any given time. And this prevented me from experimenting very much with them, as I liked the single blade style, as it was very similar to the first game, and then I liked just having the large crossguard lightsaber because it had so much more power. I would run into situations where I think, having a blaster right now would be very useful, but I wouldn't have a meditation point next to me to change into it. So I just kept powering through with what I was comfortable with. Still, having options of how you use your lightsaber is very nice. You also have a ton of cosmetic options. You can change out every single piece of your lightsaber, customize the appearance of your blaster, change the clothing, hair, and facial hair on Cal, and alter the appearance of your droid. None of this will have any effect on gameplay, but this did keep me motivated to explore areas fully, so I could find as many cosmetic options as possible. Speaking of exploration, to fully explore the areas in this game will require a lot of backtracking. As you progress through the game, you will get new tools that allow you to deal with the environment, as from the very beginning of the game, you will find obstacles that you are simply unequipped to deal with. You will get the tool to deal with that obstacle eventually. So unfortunately, if you don't realize that you simply need something that you don't have yet, you can end up wasting a lot of time and effort trying to figure things out. There is of course a story here, with the Empire as a major stumbling block. I won't get too deep into the story, as I don't wish to spoil it for anyone. But this game does attempt to have twists. Unfortunately, it's always the same twist. And that's when a character you've been working with goes, "Surprise! I'm actually a bad guy." This game likes that twist so much, it shows up not just in the story, but also in the various side content that you can do. And unfortunately, it never actually comes as a huge surprise. But in addition to the story, there are many optional things to do. The central hub of the game is a cantina. When you first get there, it's mostly empty. You will find various NPCs to fill it up. All of them will have stuff for you to do. This will unlock various cosmetic options for you, and give you many conversations that you can listen to and glean story details out of. Some of these NPCs will even point you in the direction of optional bosses, or other interesting things that are very easy to miss. The only complaint I have about about the NPCs giving you side missions is the issue of traveling, as you can fast travel between every meditation point on the planet you are on. But if they want something from you that takes place on another planet, there's no quick way to get to that planet. You have to go to your ship, select the planet you want to go to, wait for the ship to start flying, be told that they're ready to actually travel, sit down, and then finally wait for the other planet to load. And if you're doing side content that could hypothetically be done in quick succession, like the bounty hunting side quests, you have to go to the planet to fight them, then get back on your ship to do that whole process all over again, so you can get back to the cantina to find out where the next bounty hunter you have to deal with is. And they might be on yet another planet. If you could just fast travel between the various planets on the map screen, it would have eliminated this whole problem. So is Star Wars Jedi Survivor worth your time and money? Well, at the time of this recording, it is a relatively new game, still coming in at $70. And to just do the story portion of the game would be about 20 hours, with side content taking another 10 to 15. I would recommend waiting for this game to drop in price, as it won't be long before this is showing up at about $40. As while this game is a good time while it lasts, it has the same problem as the vast majority of Star Wars games. That being, nothing really profound in the setting is allowed to happen because they're saving that for movies and Disney Plus shows. So while I want to root for Cal Kestis in his struggles with the Empire, I already know going in he's never going to have a significant win against the Empire. Nor is he ever going to do anything of story significance in the greater setting. He's always just going to be that guy with a lightsaber who did a lot of stuff that seemed kinda cool, but didn't actually amount to anything. There actually are certain points during this game where characters from the original trilogy do show up. But we already know nothing of any real importance can happen to these characters, so outside of you going, oh, I recognize that, what was the point of them showing up here in the first place? I would prefer if they just stuck to all original characters for these games, so that way there could at least be some ambiguity with what's going to happen. And I would rather have the possibility of something I couldn't predict happening than see a character I remember from my childhood. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.